sadly lost, but it was still a great time, and we were very loud and a very good crowd.
So we can't come back on the air?
Yeah, I just changed the game to the second one.
So we're back here at the Namoli Family Stadium where the Spartans were able to finish up Game 1 of the doubleheader with the final 2 outs and officially post the 5-1 victory, and in the process raise their one-loss record to 14-8 on the season. And Taylor, Mariah Galhouse, what can you say? Getting the job done once again, another complete game for her from the pitching circle.
Yeah, there's no real good method of measurement for softball, but you would almost call this a Maddox-like performance, keeping the pitch count low and getting a lot of good outs. Although the no shutout means that you wouldn't actually call it that. But so only 70 pitches needed to retire all 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts, complete what is the 6th win of the season in the circle for Galhouse.
Well, and for the Spartans, they were on a 4-game losing streak, and now all of a sudden they've won 3 in a row. And you feel something starting to build here, because the first game they go 9 innings and they win it 1-0, come back with an absolute gem, and win the second game 1-0. I'm talking about the doubleheader that was here 2 days ago against Minnesota Duluth, and now you come out today starting another doubleheader and against Southwest Minnesota State. You really impress offensively and score 5 runs. Granted, sure, there was some help from the errors committed by the Mustangs, but the Spartans, this is good for them as they have another game scheduled today. Hopefully the weather will permit for that. And then, as we mentioned before, in case you weren't part of the broadcast when we relayed this information, the Spartans did have their next set of games after today scheduled for Saturday. However, because of this inclement weather that's in the area and that's forecasted for the area, that was going to be Saturday at 2 o'clock. It was supposed to be a doubleheader against Florida Southern. They're going to move that up and play it tomorrow at 5:30 instead. But Taylor, they get to stay home and continue to play hopefully 3 more games this afternoon and then 2 tomorrow, and with this winning streak under their belt and starting to feel better.
And especially with this, if they're able to complete another sweep here, it will be easier said than done. The Mustangs will be hungry for some revenge. It could allow them to have a lot of morale, a massive shot in the arm of adrenaline to be pumped for Friday night to try to continue a winning streak and really get the season back on track, because a 4-game losing streak turned their record from what was a really strong start into something looking a little weaker. Although, if you really look at all those games, the Spartans have been solid. They just have not been very clutch in offensive situations.
Well, and they're going to go play 6 consecutive games on the road after they play tomorrow's doubleheader. So wouldn't it be wonderful to set out on the road with this winning streak under your belt? And I don't want to say feeling like world beaters, but feeling like you can at least contend no matter who the opponent is, no matter what stadium you're playing in.
Yeah, and that's one of the most powerful things to be able to do, just to have that mentality of we can do it here, there, anywhere, against anyone. And the Spartans have proven that for the most part they can compete. They've never really been drubbed or absolutely destroyed. They've always kept it close, and it sometimes has led to agonizing losses. As we were mentioning, that 4-game losing streak, there was a run differential of -4 for the Spartans in that time period. That meant every single game lost was by a solitary run. So it's good to have a refreshing 4-run win right here to show some offensive.
And as we get set to wrap up this broadcast from Game 1, we do want to update the Mustangs' one-loss record. They are now 8-10 on the season as they get set for, as we said, hopefully the second game of the doubleheader against the Spartans. And with them, you can say that they've lost 2 in a row, but it's really difficult because of that inconsistency that I mentioned before in terms of wins, losses, postponements. Technically, it will go down as their second consecutive loss, although they lost Monday in the second game of a doubleheader. They had won the first, and then yesterday they were supposed to play 2 games, but those were both postponed. So overall, though, as I said, on the season, they fall to 8-10, and they will look to get back in the winning column against the Spartans, who with the 5-1 victory have improved to 14-8. So stay tuned here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network, and we will hope that Mother Nature is a Spartans fan and will allow us to get in Game 2.
So we are ready to get underway for Game 2 of an exciting doubleheader between Southwest Minnesota State and the University of Tampa Spartans. If you're just tuning in for Game 2, we had an eventful Game 1. Some offense, a lightning delay, and a pretty anticlimactic finish once the lightning delay concluded. The Spartans took a 5-1 victory, and a pretty strong show of offense after the Spartans' bats had been pretty quiet throughout. They had scored more runs in the third inning than they did throughout the entire two-game series of 16 innings against Minnesota Duluth. So, the Spartans be ready for the top of the first. Pitching this time from the circle will be Corinne Miner. Corinne Miner has had a solid season in the circle, having started 8 times, going 5-2, alongside a 2.70 ERA and 32 strikeouts with 10 walks. A little bit weaker in a few of the categories, teammate Mariah Galehouse, who was able to win in Game 1, but still a threat from the circle, in the batter's box, and in the field. Leading off here for the Southwest Minnesota State Mustangs will be Abby Russell. Last time out, Russell went 1 of 3. 1 for 3 in batting attempts. And to open up Game 2, takes ball 1.
And if by some chance you just joined us, yes, this is pretty quick. That Game 2 is getting underway, all things considered. And it's 100% driven by the weather in the area. These two teams really hoping to get in the second game of the doubleheader, especially Southwest Minnesota State. What with the mentions that I made in the broadcast of the first game about all the stops and starts that they've had on this trip down to Florida over the last almost week now, with some postponements, and still scheduled to play another doubleheader tomorrow. The Mustangs are to be over in St. Pete taking on Eckerd College, and we'll let Corinne Miner throw this next pitch, and I'll update you on the Spartan schedule as well.
Fouled away.
So the Spartans were supposed to play after today, Saturday, a doubleheader at 2 o'clock against Florida Southern. However, that has been moved up, and they will play it tomorrow at 5:30 instead. And that, too, is a reaction to inclement weather that's forecast for the greater Tampa Bay area. More optimistic that it can be played tomorrow than Saturday afternoon. So do be sure to make that note.
So we'll have some nice Friday night softball coming up. But still, at least 7 innings to go here. A 1-2 count once again for Russell. Russell's going to line that to short, picked up by Balmer and thrown to first for the first out. So Tater will now step up. 1 out after the good 6-3 play to retire the first batter. From the circle, Miner getting ready to go. Fouled away.
Corinne Miner certainly hoping to have the same fate as Mariah Galehouse from Game 1. Saw Galehouse go the distance. And certainly, I think every time that head coach Leslie Cantor puts Corinne Miner out there in the circle, she anticipates that Corinne will provide a complete game for her. And it's kind of rare when that doesn't end up being the case. And just to look at Miner so far this season a little more closely, Corinne Miner has started 8 games, has a 5-2 one-loss record, 4 complete games, and a 2.70 ERA. As you see, that one stays foul, and so not caught down the left field line, and it results in a double for the Mustangs.
It stayed just fair. Fantone just couldn't get a glove on it, so it is an extra base hit with 1 out now for the Mustangs. So good job right there by Tater to get on base.
Finishing up on Miner, she has 32 strikeouts this season and has issued 10 walks, this across 49 1/3 innings. She and Mariah Galehouse more or less handling the lion's share of the pitching load, although Mary Beth Feldman has seen a good deal of action herself this season. Only 5 innings pitched from Kate DeSimone, who's made 3 appearances So the Spartans do have 4 pitchers, primarily go with Galhouse and Minor, although we do see Feldman more and more, especially with these double headers, and that is usually when they're stacked against a game the day before.
So that one's going to be taken outside for ball 2. So a little bit of pressure in the circle right now for Minor. Only 1 out with a runner in scoring position. The goal, of course, will be to make sure that runner can't get home. And with the 2-0 count, that's going to be easier said than done, but a big whiff there for strike 1. Johnson wanted to get that ball deep, but couldn't do it.
By the way, in mentioning Mary Beth Feldman, let's give her her due. Wow, what a gem 2 days ago here.
Yeah, a near historic start for Feldman. A one-hitter that was agonizingly close to a perfect game, just 2 outs away, but secured a very solid 1-0 Spartans victory, and secured a 2-game sweep in the series on that day. The Spartans are looking to do the same right here, although no perfect game will be possible after that single hit was allowed. There's going to be a deep ball. Tracking it is Galehouse, but it falls right to Fantone as it curves a lot more to the left than center. So that'll be out number 2 in the first inning. Jillian Noel ready to go for the Mustangs with 2 outs here, hoping to not strand the runner. Mustangs would love to get to a hot start here after they went down early on against the Spartans last time. Kurt Minor hoping to get out of this little bit of a jam, although with 2 outs it's a little bit less stressful with that runner. That first pitch is taken for strike 1.
Well, if we could get these windows in the press box in front of us squeegeed, it would seem like there never was the rain that we had before.
Fantone going deep, makes the catch this time, and bumps very lightly into the wall, securing the catch and getting the final out. Fantone wasn't able to get that hit earlier on, which was the solitary hit for the Mustangs, but stranded on base at second, so the Spartans will be ready at the bottom of the first to try to get going themselves. We'll be right back on Tampa Spartans TV.
What do you get when you take your favorite food and stuff it inside a pocket of homemade dough? Cooked perfectly until golden brown. It's a mouth-watering empanada from Mr. Empanada. No one makes a better empanada. Take Ted Webb's word for it.
Almost as good as my mom used to make.
Check out our website for a location near you, MrEmpanada.com.
It's not about any one thing. It's about how everything comes together, how it all connects. People, ideas, resources, community, everything. Quality of life services. That's what we do. Sodexo.
We're back, bottom of the first inning. The Mustangs and Spartans still tied now as the Spartans look ready to go. Obviously, they're still tied if the Mustangs didn't score because Spartans haven't had any at-bats yet. Galehouse, who just pitched a nice complete game, is going to open up for the Spartans here and takes one very inside. Almost could have been a hit by pitch. Last time out, Galehouse went 2 of 4. So a great day for her, hoping to have a same right here. That'll be the first hit as well for the Spartans, as it's grounded right up the middle. A good job there to try to get it by Waldo, but just a few steps behind. So that'll bring up Balmer with a dangerous runner on. Imagine the Mustangs will probably go with a deeper infield shift, as they know the Spartans have a tendency to try to pop a sacrifice bunt, and if it hits a runner. Here's the 0-0. Balmer gets it down, and it's going to be a tough grab by the pitcher, but the throw is just a step in time. Balmer believes she got it there. I think from the booth that Balmer was just a step behind, but definitely close enough to try to see if it was otherwise.
Yeah, give her credit for running that out because it did look like it was going to be in time, and I do agree with the umpire that it was in time, but she did her absolute best to try to bring it into question and just didn't get there quick enough.
So So now that puts a runner in scoring position for Lauren Fantone, hoping to also have another huge game right here. That's going to be taken outside for ball 1.
I mentioned before about the scheduling changes for UT. You always want to check TampaSpartans.com for the latest scheduling information, and that has already been updated on the website. So you'll see the 2 games against Florida Southern that were supposed to be Saturday are now listed on TampaSpartans.com as Friday, meaning tomorrow, with the first pitch at 5:30 for Game 1 of that doubleheader.
The 2-0 as Fantone is just going to foul that off after what looked like to be more of a check swing. Fantone had a similar situation like this in the first inning. Galehouse got on, sacrifice bunt for Balmer, and Fantone was able to send the run home. She went 2 of 3 with an RBI last time and hoping to do the same here. Going to lay down another bunt that rolls foul, so the count goes to 2-2. That would have been interesting if she could have beaten that out and got runners at the corners with only 1 out. But for now, Galehouse still at second. 2-2 count, 1 away. That's going to be lined past short, gets into the outfield, and Galehouse will get home. The throw, not in time. Actually, good reaction there to make a cutoff play by Russell. Russell knew that the run would score, so just wanted to make sure that wasn't any cheeky attempt by Fantone to get to second. Second RBI of the day for Fantone, and it gives the Spartans a 1-0 lead with 1 out in the bottom of the first.
And I don't have it in front of me, so correct me if I'm wrong, but in watching Mariah Galehouse cross home plate, I feel like she scored the first run of the first game also. So it's starting to just a little bit resemble what we saw in Game 1. Fortunately for Mustangs fans, except for the part where they commit a bunch of errors. So the Mustangs trail just 1-0, but the Spartans, seeing the doors starting to open up a little bit.
And I think you were right, Bruce, that was how the first game had started out, although there might have been an error in the way. But a much cleaner start fielding for the Mustangs. They'll hope that it continues. Ball low and away, so that's going to allow a stolen base for Fantone. Good reaction on the pass ball wild pitch that just can't be corralled there by Bull, who is starting catcher once again. So 2-1 count now to Corinne Miner. Corinne going to want to try to help her cause with another hit right here. That's going to be grounded to third and gets by. It'll put runners at the corners with 1 out.
I'll tell you what, looking at Lauren Fantone, there's going to be a lot of dirty uniforms going into the laundry tonight with the muddy conditions. I don't want to overstate it, but I've seen enough players that have been sliding, and it's a rather messy field out there.
So now a little more pressure from the circle. I know Ott is not going to want to have another tough start that her teammate had before. And with 1 out, it's dangerous with runners at the corners. First pitch to Russo right here. That's going to be taken for ball 1.
Alexa Russo, the Spartans' second base player, and got to be salivating here at the opportunity to bring in her teammate Lauren Fantone from third.
Especially since Russo wasn't able to get a hit last time out. I know that Russo would love to be able to generate offense here and get the Spartans an even larger lead. Now here's the 2-0 from Ott. That's going to be taken just outside for ball 3, and now you might see Chevalier licking her chops as she could be getting bases loaded with 1 out. The 3-0. Indeed, that's taken, but it will be strike 1. Russo might be a little disappointed that wasn't ball 4, but again, just inside the zone. So here's the 3-1 right here with 1 away. Russo's going to get that into the outfield. A diving catch. Runner tags up, so the Spartans will take a 2-0 lead. But a great play by Cabos in right field. Leia Cabos able to make up for an error / miscommunication, misjudgment in the first game and get a crucial out, although the run does go home.
Yeah, great athletic play by her. She dove at it, and it was really tough to see. It almost looked like it was going to get away from her, and then I wondered if she trapped it, but she was able to come up with it. So a tremendous catch by her, and a great individual play defensively, although you're right, Taylor, the Spartans do add to their lead nonetheless in the process.
Yep, it's 2-0 lead for the Spartans. The 0-1. That's going to be fouled away there. The Chevalier. So now 0-2 with 2 outs, a chance for Ott to get out of a minor jam. Only a runner on first, but to try to stop any bleeding. Chevalier is going to get under that, and as it's popped up, it will fall, so that will retire the side. The Spartans get some damage. 3 hits and 2 runs, and they'll lead entering the top of the second. We'll be right back with the Mustangs ready to go. Up next for them is the player who made a diving catch, Leia Cabos.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Top of the second underway. The Spartans once again strike first with an electric start, leading 2-0, entering the second inning.
And this continues to add, Taylor, to their confidence as it relates to their offense because of those challenges they were having, scoring runs in the 4-game losing streak. As you mentioned, some 1-run differentials, and that became frustrating, and then you snap it. But now it's more about, okay, not only are we back in the win column, but we're starting to score more than 1 run. Certainly you'll take those back-to-back 1-0 victories 2 days ago, but to win the first game 5-1, and now here you're already leading 2-0 after 1 inning, it's starting to feel good for the Spartans in terms of their offense.
So, 0-1. Spartans defense trying to keep it very quiet as the offense is able to stay loud. 1-1 count now as that pitch is taken. So, as we mentioned, Leia Cabos had a great play in the first inning, a diving catch. It did allow a sac fly run to score, but it prevented extra runners from getting on base. She's now down 1-2 in the count, as Corinne Miner hoping to have another strong start, just like Galehouse did. The 1-2. Fouled away. Good job to stay alive.
We haven't been able to call her name yet because she will be batting 8th in the Spartans batting order, but this game we're seeing a lineup change in the person of Lindsay Harper, who you just saw over there playing the foul ball that went over to third. So she's number 24, as I just mentioned, playing third base for UT in the second game of the doubleheader.
And strike 3, the first strikeout for Corinne Miner. So Corinne is able to match a good start there. An early strikeout, too, as Gilhouse from the circle.
And Corinne Miner,
yep.
We will watch her pitch count and see if she can match how effective Galhouse seemed to be in that first game. Galhouse, wow, she was really limiting the batters to very few pitches and was really getting Mustangs batters out very quickly. In some cases, Taylor, we were talking about the fact that we weren't even really able to talk about a batter and give her stat line because she was getting him out on 1, if not 2 pitches.
Yeah, and Miner has been a little bit opposite in that category, usually taking a few other pitches, but one thing that Corinne Miner is great at is stamina. She's able to go the distance from start to finish, even if the pitch count is in the 120s or so, which we've seen it get awfully close to. There's been no need to warm up anyone in the bullpen. Miner's got it just fine, and has just gotten a nice swing and a miss to get strike 1 with the 1-out batter.
Yeah, and make no mistake, she certainly would like to throw a whole lot less than that. I think the point is that it doesn't bother Corinne Miner when she does have to throw 100 or more pitches.
Strike 2 right there. And with 1 out, has a good chance to try to get a second strikeout, or at the very least, second out of the inning. Although Molly Bull, sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska, is not going to be very keen letting that happen, as there's going to be a pop-up, tracked down, and Corinne Miner is going to be able to get the second out, helping her cause by making a nice fielding play, calling off Jansen and Chevalier, who are also up and quick ready to get it. So Paisha Wolf ready to go. Wolf had a solid game, making a few really good plays last time in the field, trying to help generate some Mustang offense and get a second hit for them. Ball 1 taken, a good eye there to start out the at-bat. Paisha Wolf last time out was 0 of 3, so she'll be hoping to turn those fortunes around this time. The 1-0, swing and a miss. So 1-1 to Paisha Wolf. Miner looking very confident from the circle. With 2 outs here. Fires the 1-1, swing and a miss again. Good stuff being shown on display as she tries to finish out this half of the inning. From the circle, ready with the 1-2. Fouled away. Kept alive there.
Yeah, Wolf happy to stay alive there because you see Miner starting to find her groove here, and that could be bad news for the Mustangs, currently trailing 2-0.
The 1-2 now from Miner. Strike 3, and the side is retired. 2 strikeouts in the second inning. Complete a 1-2-3 rehab for Corinne Miner. And now Emily Jansen will be up next for the Spartans, entering the bottom half of the inning. Spartans still lead 2-0. We'll be right back.
What do you get when you take your favorite food and stuff it inside a pocket of homemade dough? Cooked perfectly until golden brown. It's a mouth-watering empanada from Mr. Empanada. No one makes a better empanada. Take Ted Webb's word for it.
Almost as good as my mom.
Bottom of the second, ready to go. Emily Jansen takes strike 1 looking. And Ott ready to go with the 0-1. That's going to be line to left. Gets down for a single. And so that's a good start for Emily Jansen. And it'll bring up a Spartan debut right here.
And Lindsay Harper, she's, as I mentioned before, inserted at third base for this game. And last year, as a freshman, she was a COVID-19 redshirt and did not see game action. So for all intents and purposes, you might as well call this her rookie season.
And Harper, for her first at-bat as a Spartan, will get on base with a bunt hit. It was just meant to be a sacrifice, but the legs to beat the throw. Great work, and what a start for her Spartans batting career. She's played a few games this season in the field.
Yeah, she actually had one at-bat already this season, played in 2 games, so just her 3rd game, and like I said, you might as well call her a rookie here in 2022, what with last year having received a COVID-19 redshirt season and not seeing game action. And a local product, nice to highlight her. She's from Lithia, Florida, and played her high school ball over at Newsom, and finds herself on first base here with nobody out in the bottom of the second. Her team in the lead 2-0.
The 0-1 is taken for ball 1. And yeah, 2-run lead right now for the Spartans, but 2 runners on could help compound that a little bit more. That's what Perkins will be hoping to do, at the very least, with a sacrifice bunt. That's taken for strike 2, though. So now the sacrifice might not be able to work, as you definitely don't want a bunt out in this situation. The 1-2, ready to go. Perkins going to get under that one. Will it land? It does, but also out of play, so we'll have to go again.
That's Emily Jansen at second base, and you see Mariah Gelhaus, who is the Spartans' leadoff hitter. She's on deck, handing the bat back to Avery Perkins. And Gelhaus already 1 for 1 in this game.
And I know one thing for sure, Galehouse would love to have this situation another chance to bring a run home. The 1-2 now. That's going to be grounded to the pitcher. Play to third. Throw can't get back to first, so the fielder's choice will retire the first out, but 2 runners will still be on with 1 in scoring position.
And Morgan Ott, the pitcher, I got to agree with her on getting the lead runner. I think there's a lot of tendency there to automatically go to first, and you forget that all of a sudden you're going to leave someone that much closer to home. So she gets the lead runner, and the Spartans still have runners at first and second.
So the 1-2 now. Grounded foul. Actually brings it just to 0-2. But hoping to avoid going 0 for 2, 1 for 2 to start, and hopefully 2-2 will be Gallhouse. There's a drive to center field. It will be caught. But the throw to first, kind of caught off guard, was Perkins. So that is disappointing for her and the Spartans, as 2 runners will be stranded. The Mustangs will maintain a 2-run lead, entering the top of the third. That double play ends the second inning.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
So, a base running error and good throw from center field retires the bottom half of the Spartans' order. And now they're ready to go to the top of the third inning. Minor ready in the circle. It was a good start so far. Only 29 pitches needed in 2 innings with 2 strikeouts.
We're going to see the 8, 9, and 1 hitters this top of the third for Southwest Minnesota State. It begins with the second base player, McKenna Waldo.
Waldo had a couple errors last time out, a few bumps and little bounces just getting away from her, and that's always disappointing. But Waldo had been pretty solid from the batter's box, being able to get a hit last time around. I know that she'll be hoping for the same here, and is already 1-1 in the count. Calls time just to double check everything. There's a new ball now in play. The muddy conditions will make fielding even more complicated, though, so we'll have to see if any team is going to be prone to errors. The 1-1 now. And a little bit weird to see what happened there, but looks like just a foul tip off the bat. Almost an accidental tip. So 1-2 now for the second base player. Minor ready in the circle. Hoping to get strikeout number 3, or at the very least, out number 1. That's going to be grounded. Gets all the way to Russo. Russo, a good throw to first. And Emily Jansen, a nice snag in the dirt to get the out. And Russo making some great highlight plays right here. Had to track that ball a little bit to prevent it from getting to the outfield. And that was a tricky throw that she fired off just in time.
Yeah, it was a great play by her, especially because as I watched that ball bounce past Corinne Minor and making the decision to let it go to her infielder behind her, it seemed like it was going to be slow enough that would have made the difference for the batter to reach base safely, but only the great throw by Alexa Russo allowed it to result in the first out for the Mustangs here in the top of the third.
And Emily Jansen was able to handle it well enough to make sure that she had it when the runner got to first, because that was a pretty quick run too, almost beating out that throw. So now 1-1 with 1 out. Spartans don't have 1 run, so you don't see ones all across the board. because they've got 2 from that first inning. That's going to be fouled away, so now the 1-2 count with 1 away. So I know right here, Paige Swalik will not want to go down easy. Fouled away. It's now the 1-2. That one's going to be a little bit of a blooper. That's a good rundown with the outfield playing a little bit in by Fantone. So I'll retire the second batter. So Abby Russell is now ready to go. 2 outs here. Kern Miner ready to go. Corinne with a great start so far. Only 1 hit allowed and 2 strikeouts, and hoping for another 1-2-3 inning. That one's taken for ball 1, just outside. The 1-0. Fouled away, so 1-1.
I'll tell you, for a day that has been gloomy in terms of the weather, there's actually more fans here than you would expect. You would think that they would either stay away or leave after game 1 because of the rain. And it's just great to see the support that continues to be on display game after game here at the Namole Family Stadium. And the Spartans always play very competitive softball. This is a team that's easy to come out and support because you know that they're always going to give you their best, and more times than not, you're going to go home happy with a W in the pocket of the home team.
And Tampa's going to be hoping to repeat another W here, extend the winning streak, and get a second sweep in a row. Still plenty of action to be played, and a lot of ball left to be enjoyed. That's going to be fouled away. And a good job keeping the inning and at bat alive by Abby Russell. We'll go again with the 1-2 one more time with 2 outs from Corinne Miner. The 1-2. And fouled back once again. Now Corinne is going to be a little bit disappointed that this at bat is going this long. But at the very least, it's not going to 2-2 or 3-2 in the count right now.
Well, and Abby Russell is certainly happy to be staying alive here, especially with her team already having 2 outs.
And that off speed is going to be a hit. Ballmer makes the throw to first, and the side is retired. Another quick inning for the Spartans, and good work by Corinne Miner. Let's go 1, 2, and 3. We'll be back with the bottom of the third, and the Spartans ready to go again from Ballmer, who will lead off.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it. Incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
The line drive that just bounces off the third base player's glove. I know that Jillian Noah is going to be very disappointed that she wasn't able to come away with that one.
That's a tough one to score. I mean, I almost think that ball was hit too hard to score an error. I think that's got to be a hit. And as you mentioned, though, still unfortunate nonetheless. And the ball came off the bat so fast and so hard that it's that reaction time that probably made the difference. And as a result, the Spartans get their leadoff hitter aboard here to start the bottom of the third, as you see the bunt that rolls foul for Fantone. So that means that we're seeing the 2, 3, and 4 hitters this inning for UT.
Fantone will be hopefully able to set up Corinne Miner with a runner in scoring position and a chance to help her own cause. But yeah, disappointing on that last play by Noelle. Definitely not an error. Nothing that she could have done. And forget the bunt. Just advance with a nice hit up the middle. So good job by Fantone. Second hit of the game. Another single, just like in the first inning. And you know, Corinne Miner, ready to try to help her cause a little bit more. Sometimes the best run support is the one you generate yourself.
She looks over at her head coach, Leslie Cantor, over at third base with the signals for her and the base runners. And with nobody out, Taylor in the bottom of the third and already a 2-0 lead, you're right. Corinne Miner has to be excited about the opportunity here to really inflate this lead for the home team.
So that one is going to be taken for ball 2. You might see Miner also try to drop a sacrifice to get 2 runners in scoring position. Also a smart way of trying to play the numbers. And with Lexa Russo on deck, you got a strong hitter that will be ready to help. Miner drops it down. The foot race to first. A step late, and the ball almost hits into Corinne, but she's A-okay. The first baseman's glove is A-okay, and the first out is A-okay after the sacrifice.
I'll tell you what, I'm really surprised. I was watching just before that pitch to Miner, the center fielder for Southwest Minnesota State, Emily Tater. She's playing really far back in center field. And as I said, this is not a home run hitter's park. We've not seen a lot of deep fly balls. So that does set itself up for a bloop single that the Spartans could drop in front of her. I'm just really surprised to see the fact that she continues to back up out there.
I think for now, she might be a little bit wary of Russo, who's a slugging threat, but the wild pitch scores a run and advances Fantone to third. So the Spartans will now lead 3-0. That's going to be disappointing for Ott and for Bull behind the home plate, having to watch as one run is wasted away, not from a ball in play, but from a ball that just is mispitched and miscaught. So now a 2-0 count here for Russo. Russo is going to get very much under that, and it won't be able to score the runner as it's in the infield. It's dropped, so it's going to be an infield single, and you know what we were saying, just all the bounces going the Spartans' way. I'm sorry for any Mustang viewers, because it feels like you guys have just been rolling the dice and going up snake eyes every single time. The first error of the game for the Mustangs, as that time it's Bailey Johnson not able to come away with it. The good news, though, is that with the only being one out, there was no immediate run from third base, so no run was scored. But that is so disappointing. There's a deep fly to left that goes foul. And that was deep, but also well out of play. And now Chevalier has one out only and runners at the corners. And that is just painful to watch.
Yeah, and the Mustangs, they got bit in the first game by 4 errors. And so now to see these things happen here in game 2, where you do want to try to put that first game in the past and forget about it and try to start all over again with a clean slate in game 2 when you kind of resume where you left off. Certainly the Spartans are happy to resume where they left off after scoring 5 runs in game 1, but now the way this is playing out is certainly not what the Mustangs would have had. And there you see a play where there's no attempt made at first, and another runner scores for the Spartans.
So the squeeze works out well. It's a nice little bunt, and it works for Chevalier. Gets an RBI and hit. So now E.J. Jansen, 2 runners on with only 1 out, and a chance to keep the Spartan lead growing. Jansen's going to get that into the outfield. That almost was caught there, but now the bases are loaded, and what a story this would be. McKenna Waldo is not able to get to that, so now Lindsay Harper. Now, this is Lindsay's first full game start for the Spartans. She has come in for pinch hitting appearances before and defensive, as we had mentioned, but now a chance here with bases loaded to start a UT legacy and possibly help keep this game absolutely blown wide open.
Yeah, it would be a great script for the hometown girl with the bases loaded, and Spartans lead now at 4-0, and a chance for them to really break it open, with there only being 1 out.
So the 0-1 taken there by Harper. Taken high for ball 1.
And a good eye there by Lindsay Harper. That one very much upstairs. And so 1-1 now, the count to her.
Swing and a miss. So down now 1-2 in the count. And that's good news for Morgan Ott, who definitely doesn't want any of these extra runs to score. And with one out, there's still a lot of danger to be had. The 1-2 from the circle. Fouled away. Good job to stay alive by Harper. And so nervous excitement throughout the crowd for both teams. 1-2 from the circle. Swing and a miss. So sadly for Harper, she goes down with a strikeout. And Ott is pretty excited to be able to get a second out right there. And that will help her cause, as that means any out will end the inning. And with 3 runners that have to move, that means you can throw to any base to end it right here. But now, Perkins, who's 0 for 1 on the day, is trying to get some action going for the Spartans as well. Takes ball 1.
Well, and I have to commend Morgan Ott for the choice on that pitch that she struck out Harper with, got her to chase.
And that ball's going to go over short. That'll score a run. Throw from the center fielder who's played in will not allow another runner to score. So that does the job for the Spartans. It gets another run on the board. They now lead 5-0 with 10 hits. And a good job by Perkins to get an RBI. And now with bases loaded, it brings up Mariah Galehouse, who is up for at-bat number 3 once again in the 3rd inning. We already saw that in Game 1, where she was at-bat for the 3rd time at this point. That one's going to be driven deep to left, but also very, very left. Bouncing out of the bullpen and out of the stadium. Goodbye, ball. We won't be seeing you around anytime soon.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things where it gets worse for the Mustangs in the sense that now you do have the hot-hitting Mariah Galehouse at the plate. The good news is at least there's 2 outs. If they can find a way to get her out, which you see there, they won't.
So now, 1 run's going to come home. The second won't reach in time, so it's a 2 RBI single for Mariah Galehouse. And now it is a 7-0 Spartans lead. And I'd say that's just a complete 180 to how the Spartans have been playing throughout the recent games. As this is now 5 runs in the 3rd inning. And that's more than... That's double the 2-game stretch they had 2 days ago. Now with 2 outs, it's going to bring back up Balmer, who's going to get under that one. But it's going to go off the netting, so that'll just be a foul ball.
Yeah, Chevalier and Jansen both scored on the Galehouse hit. And so 5 runs here at the bottom of the 3rd, extending the lead to 7-0. And still 2 runners on.
That's a swing and a miss there. Good stuff to get the whiff. Strike 2, and what is just a disappointing inning for Morgan Ott could be over with this next pitch right here with 2 outs, an 0-2 count to the number 2-2 Balmer with 2 runners on. That's just going to be a line drive to center. Makes a diving catch. Good work there by Tater to stop the bleeding, but a lot of damage already done. The Spartans will enter the top of the 4th, leading 7-0. Up next, ironically, is Tater. After making that good catch, she'll have a chance to try to get the Mustangs back into this. We'll be right back.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
So we are back, top of the 4th, and the weather clearing up a little bit, which is good after we had that rain and lightning delay in the previous game. Mother Nature has opened its arms and just backed off to the side for a little bit, and now Tater will be able to lead off for the Mustangs.
That rain really cooled things off, though. At one point, our temperature was 83, and we're all the way down to 75 now. So some different playing conditions here in the fourth inning of Game 2 versus back when we started Game 1 only 2.5 hours ago.
Swing and a miss there by Tater, now down 0-2. And yeah, it's been an eventful day, a lot of changing conditions, and a lot of things just happening outside the extra world of sports. The MLB lockout has concluded, so it's good news for baseball fans. But if you're here for softball, that probably doesn't matter all that much. What matters will be this play. That's a nice running catch by Fantone to retire the first out. So just unfortunate there. Tater had good contact to get it past the infield, but the outfield was playing pretty shallow and was able to capitalize with a nice out.
And it's important, too, that the Spartans keep their head in the game defensively. You have this big 7-0 lead you built up. You don't want to get lackadaisical. And, it's also a good opportunity to support your pitcher, Corinne Miner, and just try to move through this game as quickly as you can and not let up on something like a routine fly ball. And Lauren Fantone did a good job with that first out of this top of the fourth inning.
A good take there by Bailey Johnson. Now goes 1-1 in the count with one away. Here's the 1-1 again. That's going to be taken low and outside for ball 2. Last time out, Johnson went 0-3, and I know she wants to turn that fortune around right here. That's going to be taken low for strike 2. Just hit that low corner perfectly. It's now 2-2 count with one away.
Johnson, she stands right up at the front edge of that batter's box.
That's going to be grounded to Ballmer. Ballmer reads the bounce and makes the throw. And the Spartans have been very good in the field so far. Ballmer doing a good job to make sure that there's no misplay with that ground ball. He gets the second out. And now the pressure will lie on the shoulders of Jillian Knoll to try to keep this inning and generate any hope for the Mustangs offense this go around. They'll still have the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning, plenty of time. But for now, they're going to want to see something going here after an also quiet first game. That one's taken for strike 1, a swing and a miss. Corinne Miner, another good start, hoping for another 1-2-3 inning. The 0-1. Fouled away. Staying alive, but 0-2 here.
Athletes will talk about that it's a team sport and it's all about getting the win and not about individual highlights and praise. And that's the case for Corinne Miner. She only has 2 strikeouts in this game, but she could finish the game with none, and as long as her team wins, that's what's most important. As you see, that one popped up.
And that's going to be a simple catch there. And we actually see in the field this game, Miranda Perez. So Russo has been moved to be the designated player, while we also see Lindsay Harper playing at third. But that's another 1-2-3 inning for the Spartans, who now are going to be back in the batter's box, ready to go for the bottom of the 4th.
What do you get when you take your favorite food and stuff it inside a pocket of homemade dough? Cooked perfectly until golden brown. It's a mouth-watering empanada from Mr. Empanada. No one makes a better empanada. Take Ted Webb's word for it.
Almost as good as my mom used to make.
Check out our website for a location near you. MrEmpanada.com.
It's not about any one thing. It's about how everything comes together, how it all connects. People, ideas, resources.
The huddle breaks away from the Mustangs, showing support for their pitcher, entering the bottom of the 4th. It's been a rough day for the Mustangs, but they're still here, still fighting, and you love to see the effort. Never backing down, never giving in. First pitch taken outside for ball 1. And it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And we saw in Game 1, after a flurry of errors, the Mustangs were very elite in the field. And I know they're going to be hoping to do the same here and trying to limit the Spartans' offense. So 2-0 count now to Fantone, who already has 2 hits and an RBI. Fantone's going to take another one, so now it's a 3-0 count. A chance to get another base runner.
I'll tell you, the weather has really settled down. The American flag in right center field hanging absolutely limp. And so it's great that, especially for the Mustangs, that they have been able to get this second game well in hand. Spartans now batting in the bottom of the fourth.
And that one's going to be a line drive right to the pitcher. Throw to first. Not in time. And that was close, but the editor says ties goes to the runner, and I think that's how the umpire called it. And that's kind of another disappointing play there. And that time it just ricochets off of Ott's glove, and not much he could do.
Yeah, tip of the cap to McKenna Waldo for making the throw on what was a very close call, because it was an unfortunate turn of events with the ball glancing off the glove of the pitcher. And so for Waldo to be heads up and able to get it over in what seemed like almost in time. You see the discussion going on between the Mustangs coach and the infield umpire, which is James Wadsworth, and that's probably what the discussion is about. But I still want to acknowledge the play by Waldo, because once there's something that impedes the progress of the ball the way that it was in going off the glove of pitcher Morgan Ott, the odds are going to be against it. So she still made a great attempt and just not in time.
So now the Mustangs will have another chance here. Here's the sacrifice attempt, and gets the out at first. And good, and look at that there by Waldo, trying to make sure that there wasn't anything to do at second, because it's very easy. If you run past second, you can still be tagged out. But nothing doing there. It would have been interesting to see if Waldo had the chance to fire it to second and try to make that a double play. So that time around, Perez now batting up here. That one's fouled away.
Perez, as you mentioned, has come in place of Alexa Russo.
And yeah, Russo potentially giving a little break, but also a good chance here. We'll have to wait and see, however, if Perez can make good on this opportunity. She will as she gets it past the second and first base players, and that will put runners at the corners with one out. And actually, forget the single, she's just going to steal second.
And we're actually going to see another change here in the lineup as Kate DeSimone is coming up to bat for the Spartans, the position in the lineup that normally we would have seen Lexi Chevalier batting next. And so head coach Leslie Cantor giving a few more of her players an opportunity to get some time in here with her team in a big 7-0 lead with only one out in the bottom of the fourth.
Now we've seen DeSimone usually come in relief pitching for the Spartans, but here we'll have a good chance in the batter's box to see if she can continue this. It's been a strong game for the Spartans, and it gives an opportunity to try something else. Swing and a miss there for strike one by DeSimone.
Yeah, DeSimone has only had 5 at-bats so far this season, so a good opportunity for her to get a little time in the batter's box.
That one's taken high and inside for ball one. So,
and yeah, you're right, Taylor. She has been very limited in the circle. I'm talking about DeSimone as a pitcher, only 5 innings pitched over 3 appearances.
So DeSimone hoping to get something done in the batter's box. 1-2 now with 1 away. That one's taken high for ball 2. Good grab there to make sure it doesn't go too far by Molly Bull.
Yeah, very much so. She leapt from her crouch position to snare that one before it resulted in more damage by the Spartans.
2-2. DeSimone's going to get under it. And tagging up and heading for home, actually catching the Mustangs off guard, was Lauren Fantone, so the Spartans will now lead 8-0.
But what a great throw home, though. Even though they didn't get her, you're right, it's a good job by her on the base running, but an equally impressive throw. And had the throw been a little sooner, it was right on target. But the Spartans able to put another run up on the board and inflate the lead to 8-0 now. And with head coach Leslie Cantor out there talking to home plate umpire Ralph Rodriguez, it looks like we're going to get another change here, as we're going to get to see Sam Weiberg batting for the Spartans.
So Weiberg will get a good opportunity here. Also a lefty batter, so you get a little platoon advantage.
Yeah, in the position where we otherwise would have seen Emily Jansen. That's Miranda Perez over at third. 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth, 8-0 UT.
So Weiberg is going to pop this one up, and that'll allow the Mustangs to get out of the inning. They do concede a run off a accidental sacrifice fly with smart base running, and the Spartans lead 8-0 entering the top of the fifth.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
We are back top of the fifth at the Namoli Family Stadium. It's been a good day for the Spartans, although potentially disappointing for Mustangs. But we still have some time to play, and now all that matters is whoever is batting and whoever is pitching. It's going to come down to Leia Kibos, swinging and missing on strike one, hoping to generate some Mustang offense here. Corinne Miner has had a solid game from the circle, only a solitary hit allowed in 55 pitches across 4 innings. And
yeah,
that's technically a hit because that's a hit by pitch. It hags her elbow, but it was off speed, so I don't think it hurt all that bad, and thankfully she looks A-okay over at first base. That'll give another base runner for the Mustangs, and now a chance for a pinch hitter.
And that was actually Paige Arendt.
Yeah, actually, it was a pinch hitter there who was able to draw the hit by pitch, but now Cabos is back in as a pinch runner. Things are going pretty fast, as that was a quick at bat. And we also have Bull in here again. So runner on, no outs. Chance for the Mustangs. Maybe that hit by pitch in the arm was a little bit more like a shot in the arm. Chevalier not able to keep it cleanly, but safe, almost being able to pick off Cabos, who had just gotten off the bag. That looked like a close play, but Cabos got back just in time. 0-1 here. Corinne ready to go. The infield playing in, ready for a bunt. The bunt cuts down, and wow, that's a great bounce. Can't beat the throw to first, however. And the runner will stay at second as well. So the sacrifice does its job, and Bull was nearly able to run it out after what honestly was a perfect bunt. Gets down immediately in front of the plate and rolls away from where you're expecting.
I'll tell you what, I thought that Cabos was going to try for third because she got such a great jump coming off of first and had great wheels on the base paths, although she does hold up at second.
It's now 1 out. We see Leia Cabos just getting off the bag, potentially trying to tease stealing third. We saw her speed in that previous play, so that could be a possibility. But now 0-1 with 1 out, fouled away. So the count will go to 0-2 for Paisha Wolf. So far, the Mustangs have been 0-2 with runners in scoring position, hoping that can change right here. As the 0-2 pitch is ready to go. That's going to be taken outside for ball 1.
You know, this is one of those games where everything has gone so well that it's tough to find something for UT that hasn't gone in their favor. As you see, the strikeout there for out number 2, and for Corinne Miner, that'll be her third strikeout of the game. UT has left 5 runners on base, and that's about the closest you can come to finding something that isn't all that impressive. But if you think of it the other way, if they had converted some of those, my gosh, this game could be a double-digit lead.
Yeah, but that one's going to be now flared out to right and misplayed there by Perkins. Throw home, not in time, so the Mustangs will cheer. They score a run and will cut that deficit. Still some work to do, but that is a sign of light and a sign of hope. Perkins was tracking that down, but it fell out of her glove.
Yeah, unfortunate for Perkins to not be able to catch what would have been the third out of the inning. And so the Mustangs, with a runner on first and still hitting here in the top of the fifth.
The consolation surely for the Spartans after what's a wild pitch and will allow the RBI hitter, Waldo, to now get to second, is that the lead has allowed the Spartans to make this error and it doesn't hurt them all that much. I know for Minor that'll be disappointed. It ruins its chances of a shutout, although that run is also not earned, so it won't affect any year-long stats for her. The 1-0 here. Taken low and away for ball 2. So Curran, with 2 outs, hoping to get out of now a minor jam. A runner on second's always dangerous. Trying to keep the Spartans' lead. The Mustangs would love to cut that down a little more. Fouled away this time by Paige Schwalik. And now, 2-1 count with 2 away. Entering the at-bat, Minor already at 63 pitches, where we saw Galehouse complete the full game in 70. That one fouled away.
Hopefully the Spartans can shake out those couple of oops plays with what we saw in right field from Avery Perkins, and then the ball down here that gets away.
So 2's on the board, 2-2 with 2 outs. A runner on second, 8 divided by 4, number of the batter and runner, is also divided and divisible to 2. So, after that one's fouled away, we get another 2-2 pitch with 2 outs from the circle from Minor. That's going to be a line drive to center, and Galehouse makes it look easy. The Mustangs will score off a hit by pitch and great base running, and an unfortunate error from Avery Perkins. However, apart from that, they can't do much else and strand a runner. Spartans will be back up ready in the bottom of the 5th, leading 8-1.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Heard me.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours.
We see a few umbrellas getting out in the crowd. Hopefully no more rain, but that's still a possibility with inclement weather we've had so far. But now, leading off for the Spartans will be Harper. That's going to be taken and goes behind for ball 1. So still in the circle, still fighting, will be Morgan Ott. And Ott, 67 pitches entering the at-bat. A tough day for her, although she has been able to walk away with 1 strikeout. I know she'll be hoping to get another strikeout against Harper, who did strike out in her last plate appearance, but now is down 2-0 in the count.
Lindsay Harper 1 for 2. She singled in the second, and then that strikeout in the third. Batting here now in the bottom of the 5th.
That's going to be grounded, but foul, so no play attempt from third. Good reactions there by Noel to be ready to make that throw. But now the count goes to 2-1. But yeah, the last time that strikeout was pretty important. It was with bases loaded and allowed the Mustangs to try to limit some of the damage that was dealt. Now the 2-1 again. Harper's going to get that. He's going to get into the gap and travel far enough, rolling all the way to the wall. Harper will stay 2, actually goes 3. Gets in time. It is a no-out triple leading off the bottom of the 5th, and congratulations there, Harper. What a way to get your base running skills up, and a great way to open up the inning.
Yeah, what a great memory that's going to be for Lindsay Harper. As we mentioned before, She's from just over in Lithia, played her high school ball nearby at Newsom High School, and a tremendous hit there, and sliding in for the triple, and a great way to start this bottom of the 5th inning, and a great memory for her, being 2 for 3 at the plate in this game.
And now we're going to see another pinch hitter for the Spartans. Devin Hammond's ready to go. And 4 at-bats this season. Hammonds actually has 2 hits, so I know she'll be really excited and hoping to get another, which could also lead to an RBI. Here's the 0-0. That one is taken for ball 1. So always good to see a rookie be able to capitalize. The 1-0 now to Hammonds. That one nearly gets away from Bull, but a good job to keep the glove on it. 2-0 count. Now no action from the Mustangs bullpen, although with the game congestion, I imagine that they're probably just going to want to run with Morganot just for the rest of the game to save bullpen arms for the future, especially as this game hasn't been exactly to their favor.
Well, and as I mentioned, the Mustangs have another doubleheader tomorrow across the bridge in St. Pete.
And a line drive that goes right to Ott, and Ott is able to catch it very cleanly and nearly gets a double play. However, good reaction by Harper to get back to third in time. Disappointing for the Spartans there, but they do avoid a dangerous double play. Galehouse back in once again with a runner on third. They could potentially expand the Spartans' lead once more. Galehouse so far, 2 of 3, and that one's fouled away. Galehouse also has 2 RBIs and was able to score a run on 1 at-bat as well. And this has been a great day for Galehouse, not only some proficiency with the bat, but also with a very good game from the mound, from the circle.
UT has runs in 3 of the first 4 innings, batting now in the bottom of the 5th, and hoping to extend that. 8 runs on 14 hits for UT so far. And keep in mind a runner at third in the person of Lindsay Harper.
So, looks like maybe a pitch out, hoping to try to avoid another squeeze play that we saw work earlier. 1-1 with 1 out and a runner on. The Spartans' number 1 hitter. That one is also going to be taken outside the zone. They want to make sure that Harper isn't going to be doing anything from third. 2-1 here to Galehouse. And with the 3-1 count, we could be seeing Galehouse get to first with a base on balls. I'll have to double check right here. 3-1 ready to go. And indeed, it's actually a semi-intentional walk. Don't want to have a prolific hitter be able to get another RBI and another chance, so that with a free base, and 2 of them actually, they'll just sacrifice one of those and bring up a potentially better matchup. But Stephanie Ballmer has started to get breaking out of that hitting slump, so she's not going to be an easy out. With runner on with 1 out, she's going to want to help expand that lead for the Spartans. That one's taken high for ball 1.
Ballmer's 1 for 2 and also hit into a sacrifice in the first inning. And here she is with runners on the corners and only 1 out in the bottom of the 5th.
That one's taken low for ball 2. Last time out as well, Ballmer was 0 of 2, but also had a sacrifice in the first inning in that game, as we saw happen again this time around. 2-0. That one's taken for strike 1. Count goes to 2-1. A good job to fight back by Morgan Ott. So runners at the corners, 1 out.
I think Lindsay Harper's over at third, just thinking it would be icing on the cake if she could cross home plate. And what's going to be a memorable game for her, as I mentioned, but wouldn't it be nice to get something in the runs scored column for her, especially with there only being 1 out here.
So any ball to the outfield or any tough-to-play fly ball would certainly be able to send her home. So we'll have to see if Ballmer can do that. 2-2. That one's going to be driven deep to left field. It stays fair to the wall, so that will score 1 run. And now we'll also put runners at third and second. So second and third now with 1 out. And that's actually a little bit disappointing because that was just a few inches away, or I'd say maybe a foot or so away from a home run. And with the 9-1 lead, That will
That'd
end the game.
By the run-ahead rule. And so UT wins it 9-1 thanks to the run-ahead rule, even though we're only in the 5th inning and only 1 out. And by the way, who's the person that scores that 9th run? But none other than Lindsay Harper, who I talked about, would love to have that run scored entry in her stat line for this game. And so a great day for UT, despite Mother Nature trying to have some say in it. They win the first game 5-1, and they win the second game 9-1.
Yeah, and this game ends a little bit early. Both teams can go home and think about what they want to do next. And I know for Southwest Minnesota State, it's disappointing to have to be swept in a series like this, but they can take a breath and say, listen, we have a little more time to rest before tomorrow. We don't need to bring in anyone from the bullpen. And now that we know what's happened here, a little bit of infield mistakes, a little bit of just unfortunate bounces, hopefully that gives us a little bit of good karma next time around.
And I want to point out that as the Spartans now improve their overall one-loss record to 15-8, remember I mentioned this earlier that the doubleheader that they're scheduled to play next was going to be Saturday, but it's been moved up to tomorrow night. So not Saturday afternoon due to some inclement weather that's forecast for the area. Instead, they will take on Florida Southern at 5:30 for Game 1 tomorrow here at the Namoli Family Stadium. And as we talked about, the Southwest Minnesota State Mustangs, they will head across the bridge and go take on Eckerd College in a doubleheader tomorrow. Their overall one-loss record now drops to 8-11, courtesy of this 9-1 decision in favor of the Spartans here in Game 2 of the doubleheader.
So a perfect day for the Spartans, and I think this is just what they needed to try to get their offense back on track. They'll have one more doubleheader before they start their extensive road trip, and we won't be able to see them again until April. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Taylor Storthy alongside Bruce Wozniak, and we've had a fun day, but now it'll come to an end. See you Friday night for another doubleheader on Tampa Spartans TV and the Sunshine State Conference Network.